it's a decent idea to understand landlording before you do that. So you don't get played by a property manager. You can kind of call them out if they're not telling you the right thing. But it also gives you a sense of like understanding what the property manager has to do and what you're paying them to do as well.
It was working. The math was great. And I was like, let's keep going. And then by happenstance, I'm like, oh, we're cash flowing X. We have a mold remediation we need to do. That doesn't hurt as bad because we've got, you know. So yeah, the bigger ticket items don't hurt as bad when you've got some scale, and it sort of in a way self-insulates.
And same with time, like scale and time. So time, ideally you have appreciation. And if you're growing a portfolio, you're having more income. Largely you learn that like, if you learn either from a landlording standpoint or a property management standpoint that you can, over time, things get better because you become a better landlord, or you hire a property manager that has hopefully a decent property manager that does a good job. And there's also some aspect of like a new tenant sometimes will take a month or two to like kind of get stabilized in your own property and sort of understand the light switches and the plumbing and everything else and what to do and what not to do. And so things tend to stabilize and get better with time as well.
And it's funny, a house always operates a little different for each person. So,
I've noticed that. And there's it's interesting too, because you'll have owners that move out of their house and they're like, everything's fine. And then the tenant moves in, they're like, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, this doesn't work. And the owner's like, oh, we just kind of got used to that. And I'm like, all right, well, the tenant's not used to it. But it is funny how that works. And you can have, obviously, between tenants, like they just have different preferences and stuff. And so that's where we learn to like draw the line of what's reasonable, what's not reasonable, and things like that. So you had said that you tried to self-manage, which I think is actually, I mean, if you want to send it straight to a property manager, I'm not going to argue that, right? Like, and a lot of people might be absentee, meaning they live in a different state, probably use a property manager unless you have really good relationships already in the market. But if you live here and you don't necessarily have a big family you want to spend time with, or travel, or a W-2 that you're really focused on, improving in and stuff like that, property management can be a good solution. When you move to property management, you said you were around like 4 or 5 assets. I think it's a decent idea to understand landlording before you do that. So you don't get played by a property manager. You can kind of call them out if they're not telling you the right thing. But it also gives you a sense of like understanding what the property manager has to do and what you're paying them to do as well.
I think that's a really good point. I think you learn to speak the same language, right? And so like if I call you guys or vice versa, like our conversations are probably a little bit of a different level than if I had just out of the gate started with a property manager, not knowing what I learned through sort of boots on the ground. Right. So yeah, I mean, I think it makes my relationship better with my professionals that I work with, and just all the way around good. Yeah. And you learn so much, right? You learn the tendencies of people, right? You learn what hangups happen, what common, repair items are,